So today we have 115 businesses here to talk with you about your career interests, their career opportunities for you, and your future.
Aubrey, what careers are you interested in?
I'm going to be pursuing a career in speech-language pathology, but I also have an interest in law and political science.
Awesome. So yeah, you'll be able to see a bunch of different businesses today that will help you get into that field and give you what it's like.
What about you, Mason? What are you interested in?
I am interested in environmental engineering and communication jobs, which means I'll be looking up any sort of environmental institution, water resources, and like radio shows and stuff that do public communications, which is awesome. Those are the kinds of ideas that you need to be thinking about from the little sheet that you have on what businesses apply to your on what businesses apply to your career paths. Okay, so let's get this ball rolling. We have 4 people that are coming to talk to you today to give you their experiences in their field, and all 4 of these amazing people are experts. A round of applause for them. Our keynote speaker is Judge Pototsky, and we still have our excellent 3 career talks.
Mason and I are excited to introduce our keynote speaker, Judge Pototsky from the 9th Judicial District. Judge Pototsky grew up back east, graduated from the University of Miami, and received his law degree at the Thomas Cooley Law School in Michigan. Early on, he was debating whether to own a bar or be a lawyer. We'll let him tell you the rest.
Give it up for Judge Pototsky.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Nicely done. Good morning. Can everybody hear me? You want me to stand behind the microphone? Is that much better? Okay. So, my name is John Pototsky. I'm the county court judge here in Rifle. Some of you may have met me already. We're not going to call you out. Some of you may not have. What I do, and is what my job is to do here today, is 1, hopefully not bore you to tears. I know that this is kind of like the substitute teacher where you get to go out and have the movie as opposed to having to do work. No movie. So, no movie today, but hopefully this won't be too bad. It's my job to tell you, first of all, hopefully get you fired up for your future. And second of all, I'm going to tell you some lessons. The lessons that I've learned, a couple of them are this. Number 1 is be nice. Number 2 is prepare. And number 3 is don't close any doors that you can't even see yet. And what I mean by that is this. I get people that come in that see me in my courtroom, and I tell them, look, what is going on with your world? What do you want to do with your life? And they say, I don't know. I say, well, don't close any doors by stealing, committing crimes, drinking and driving, using drugs. You are potentially closing doors that you don't even know exist yet. And what I mean by that is this. Let's say that you commit an offense, you come to court, you get convicted, and then you decide that you want to go to school, you want to go into the military, you want to get a job. And if you've been stealing, anybody, let's say you own a business, is anybody here going to hire someone who has a theft on their background? No. You might hire someone who has been convicted of using drugs, dealing drugs. You might hire someone who has committed driving offenses, but the chances are slim that you're hiring someone who's been involved in a theft offense because you don't want them stealing from you. Even if they are totally changed their circumstances, they've totally changed their life around, it's still a situation where you're going, I'm not taking the chance. So now, here you are, you meet the woman of your dreams, the man of your dreams, the partner of your dreams, whatever your situation may be, and that person says to you, why would I want to spend the rest of my life with you? You know, what do you have going on? What is positive in your world? And the answer is that it's going to be difficult in that scenario. So the rest of it is this. How did I get to be the county court judge in Rifle? I had a lot of help. And what I mean by that is be nice. Be nice to people. We hear all the time about bullying, social bullying. It's easy to be in a situation where you are on someone's Facebook page, Instagram, whatever, Snapchat, whatever it may be, and you can just make a comment because you can be anonymous. You can set up an account where you don't have to use your own name, and you're in a situation where nobody knows it's you, but somebody knows it's you. There's always a way to find out. It's always a situation, you know, what's the point? Life is too short to be miserable. Life is too short to be in a situation where you are causing issues. And the flip side of that is this. You may need that person one day. That person who is, you're kind of friends with them, you're kind of not, you're in a situation where you are acting like a fool. 20 years from now, like I said, it's always about looking down the road because you don't know where you're going to be. You don't know what's going to happen. You may think to yourself, how many people, raise them up again, that know what you're going to do after high school? So let's just say for sake of argument that that is 40 of you. I'm a lawyer, not a mathematician, so I could be off a little bit. But you may know what you want to do, but you don't know what you're going to do. I knew what I was going to do. When I was growing up, my best friend's dad owned a bank. I'm going to be a banker. I went to the University of Miami. Again, it's all about the U. I got to throw up the U. It's what I do. I bleed orange and green. Sorry about that. But I knew what I was going to do. I was going to be a banker until I found out that there is family and there's friends of family. So I always would have had a job, but never the job that I wanted, never the job that I thought I was entitled to, never the job I thought I deserved. So things change. It's the way it works. I grew up in Baltimore. It is in Maryland. It's close to DC. When I was a kid, I used to tell my dad, we're Orioles fans growing up in Baltimore, obviously. It was all about baseball at that point in time. When I grew up, I used to tell my dad, when I grow up, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to live in New York. And his response was always the same thing. As long as you don't root for the Yankees, you can live wherever you want. So it's just one of those things. I grew up in a neighborhood that was pretty much mixed. We were outside playing all day long. We would be out from dawn till dusk. Mom just said, be home as soon as it's dark, because that's the way it worked back in those days. And at some point in time, my parents decided that they were going to move. So they moved. To give you the example, it would be basically moving from Rifle to Glenwood. And so we moved towns. At that point in time, my dad said to me, you are going to go to private school and you're going to play lacrosse, because I was left-handed and fast. And I said, no, I'm going to go to public school and I'm going to play baseball, because again, it was all about baseball. And matter of fact, I was such a baseball nut that I played, I'm going to throw out names because it's pretty cool. I've had a lot of opportunities to hang out with some pretty impressive athletes. The first one was Brian Jordan. He played 15 years in the major leagues, played for the Cardinals, he played for the Braves, he played for some other teams. He hit 184 career home runs. But in Little League, this guy was the home run champ, not him. And I think to this day it still bugs him if you were going to ask him. Well, maybe not. So, tell my dad I'm going to public school, I'm going to play baseball, blew out my arm. So at that point, I switched to track. And my high school track coach was just a guy who liked to run, nicest guy in the world, but he didn't do much coaching. So I would get in the car and I'd drive over to a rival high school, and these guys were state champs. They were bad to the bone. They were the best. And I said to them, they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I want to learn. I want to learn from you. I want to learn how you do it. The guy who was the state hurdle champ basically took me under his wing and taught me how to run hurdles. So again, it comes back to prepare, because you're in a situation where if you want to do what you want to do, you have to learn. If you don't have the opportunities given to you where you are, seek them out. Be in a situation where you put yourself in a spot where you can be the best that you can be. So, I learned from Tony Kaiser. He taught me how to run hurdles. I wound up being third in the state my senior year. It was pretty cool. I got a scholarship to Miami. So I go down to Miami. I'm loving life. I'm hanging out with football players. My freshman year, we lost our first game to the University of Florida 28-3. And I'm thinking, what am I doing here? It had nothing to do with the education. It was all about football at that point. So the next, we win the next 11 games. We win the national championship. Life was pretty good all of a sudden. I'm hanging out with Melvin Bratton, who played for the Broncos, Benny Blades, who played for the Seahawks, Brian Blades, who played for the Lions. And all these guys are, again, the lesson is practice, prepare. Practice, prepare. We used to talk smack. I would say to them, you guys aren't really that fast. I am much faster than you are. So finally they got sick of me talking smack. We had a race. The guy who said go, they were done before I started. It was amazing life lesson that yes, you can talk smack, but be prepared to get embarrassed if you aren't able to follow through. But the bottom line is still the same thing. Do what you need to do to learn how to put yourself in a position that you can make it happen. So, I joined a fraternity. Best thing ever. I am still friends with the majority of the people that I went through the initiation process with. They're some of my best friends to this day, which is a lot of years later. And I was the treasurer of my fraternity, I was president of my fraternity. It put me in a situation where I met administrators, I met professors, I met business leaders who all were in the same situation of, look, we are willing to help in any way we can. We are former fraternity brothers, we know what goes on, we know how to make it happen. Use the resources that are available to you, whether it's teachers today, whether it's community leaders. The people that are in that room next door are all here because they want to help you succeed. You got to ask for it. I tell my son, who's 25, all the time, if you don't ask, you don't get. Because I don't know that you need it, and I don't want to be putting myself in a situation where I'm helicopter parenting you and trying to get you to do what I want you to do. I want you to do what you want to do. But I'm certainly willing to help. I got lots of people who are willing to help, but you got to ask. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We want you to succeed on your own, but at the same time, it's 2018. You need help. It is the way of the world. Now, even if it's just opening a door, getting you an interview, getting you into position. My son graduated from NYU with a dramatic writing degree. He's a playwright and a screenwriter. He was writing plays on Broadway. He's now in the process of moving to LA. And in the last 2 weeks, he's been out in LA meeting with people. And the 5 people that he's met with, one of them is his best friend, who's opened some doors for him in LA. The others are 2 of my friends from high school that are out there in the entertainment industry, and 2 of my wife's friends from high school who were in the entertainment industry. So I graduated from high school a long time ago. 1983. We just had our 35th reunion last weekend. And here it is, my son is now getting doors open for him from people that I haven't seen in maybe 25 years, but I'm still friends with them, I still have their contacts, because it's the way it goes, which is coming back full circle to what I said to you in the beginning. Be nice to people, be friendly with people, maintain these friendships, because it is the way of the world. You know, if I didn't know these people, you know, he's out there trying to break into an industry where everybody is trying to break into that industry. It doesn't make a difference how good you are. You need to be good to stay there, but sometimes to get in the door, you need some help. So again, don't be afraid to ask for help. So I go from Miami, I get a job working in a bar. Oh, this was also a pretty cool thing. So with the scholarship, I had a work study, because again, you know, you got to have money to survive. So I get a job working in a bar, and I also get a job working at Campus Sports and Recreation. It was my job to make sure that the automatic sprinklers turned on. It was a difficult job, but I think I was up to the task. So then I get a job working in a bar. I love working in a bar. Working in a bar teaches you so many things about people, working with people, being able to relate to people, being able to speak to people, being able to get along with people. Because again, that is the bottom line, is be nice, be able to communicate, be able to get your point across. The fraternity brothers of mine own the bar, so again, don't be afraid to ask for help. Put me in a situation where I needed the money, I needed to be able to get by, and I said, hey, you know, are you guys hiring? They're like, well, we really are full at this point in time, but we know your spot that you're in. We'll give you an opening. We'll give you at least 1 shift to make some money, and then eventually it turned into more and more shifts, because, again, getting in the door is one thing, but then you got to be able to perform. So since I did what I was supposed to do, showed up on time, looked appropriate, acted appropriate, got along with the patrons of the bar, started making them money. At that point in time, they started giving me more and more shifts. And I worked as a cook in the beginning, and eventually worked my way up to where I was actually tending bar and doing things that made more money. Because again, don't be afraid to start at the bottom and work your way up. It's amazing how many people say, well, I want to be the judge. Well, nobody just gets to be the judge. You have to work your way up. And that's what happened to me. And that's the life lessons that I learned starting off, working at the bottom, working my way up. So I come home from school, I get the job in the bank. I already told you what happened there with the sense that, you know, yes, it was okay, but I wasn't making the money I thought I was going to make. It wasn't the job I thought I was going to be. I tell my dad it's time for me to go somewhere else. He says, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I'm a bar guy. It's what I always did. It's what I've always wanted to do, you know, other than the bank, which was a little boring anyhow. It was great, don't get me wrong. I loved the financial aspect of it, but it wasn't the same thrill that working in the bar gave me. So I said, but I always wanted to go to law school, so I'm going to take the law school exam, see how that goes, we'll go from there. He says, if you take the exam, if you get in, great, and if not, then we'll look about, you know, getting you a bar, getting a job, opening a bar, where it may be. So I take the exam, I crushed it, get admitted into law school, go to law school, graduate in 3 years. So it's 4 years of college, 3 years of law school. I get out, I get a job in the public defender's office. I got sworn in, I passed the bar first time, get sworn in November. My first trial was January 20th. It was an arson with the habitual offender. They bring 75 jurors in. I almost started laughing. I'm like, what am I doing here? And the facts of the case are pretty cool because that's the best part about criminal law is you get to tell good stories. And it's a situation where, am I running out of time already? Man, that's quick. So basic gist is that you tell good stories, you get to meet good people. I graduated, became from a public defender. I went, opened my own firm. I worked for another firm. I come out here, I moved to New York. I killed the country with subprime mortgages. Then I'm in a situation where I come out here as a prosecutor. The job opening came. People said, put your name in. I said, I'm not going to put my name in. I've only been here 2 years. I don't know anybody. They said, we know people. Put your name in. So I put my name in. I met with the governor. It was the coolest thing ever. You go down there. His office is huge. It's all cherry wood. It is the most intimidating position ever next to maybe the Oval Office. It really just makes you feel inferior, but Governor Ritter was awesome. I met with him. Next thing I know, I get the phone call that says I'm going to be the judge in Rifle, and I go from there. So what I want you to know is this. You could be the best judge candidate in the world, but if there's no opening, you can't have the job. Hopefully the job in Rifle is not going to be open for at least the next 10 to 15 years. But that doesn't mean that you can't be in Glenwood, in Boulder, in Canyon City, wherever the case may be. You just have to put yourself in a position so when the call or when the opening comes, you're able to take advantage of it. I think that tells you everything there is to know in a nutshell. Hope I didn't bore you too much. I wish you luck. If you need help with anything, I do career shadows. We have mock trial that gets you exposed to the legal system. I'd be happy to talk to anybody at any time, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Judge Pototsky. That was absolutely amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for caring about our lives and coming to this.